Kunja Bihari Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Om Vishnu Padam Hamsa Parivajagacharya Stotra Tatashi Swami Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Jai. Iskan BBT founder Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantharaj Shrimadbhagavatam ki Jai. Nama Veda Bhakti Jai. Nitai Gaur Premananda. All glories. All glories. All glories. All glories. Shishi Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam Namaskritya.
Narayanam Namaskritya.
Naram Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Ashtapraya Shivabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamashloke Bhakti Bhagavati Naishtiki. Hare Krishna. Reading Shrimadbhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Text number 41. Dhritarashtra quits home. Narada Uvacha. Ma kanchana shucho rajan. Yadishvara Vasham Jagat
Yadishvara Vasham Jagat
Lokaha Sapalya Yasya Me
Loka Sapalaya
Vahanti Balamishatu
Vayati Bhagaviti
Samsuyunnakti Bhutani
Sasamyunakti
Saeva Viyunakti Cha Saeva Viyunakti Cha
Saiva Viyunakti
Nara Udvacha
Vacha
Makanchana Suchorajan
Makanchana Suchorajan
Yashishvara Vasham Jagat
Yadishvara Vasham Jagat
Lokaha Sapala Yasimi
Loka Sapalaya
Vahanti Balameshataha
Vahanti Bhagaviti
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Saeva Viyunakti Cha
Saiva Viyunakti
Naravacha
Vacha
Makanchana Suchorajan
Makanchana Suchorajan
Yashishvara Vasham Jagat
Yadishvara Vasham Jagat
Lokaha Sapala Yasmi
Loka Sapalaya
Vahanti Balameshatuhu
Vahanti Bhagaviti
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Saeva Viyunakti Cha
Saiva Viyunakti Cha
Naravacha
Makanchana Suchorajan Yadishvara Vasam Jagat
Yadishvara Vasham Jagat
Loka Sapalaya Syeme
Loka Sapalaya Shini
Vahanti Balimisitu
Vahanti Balim Ishyatu
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Sasamyunakti
Saeva Viyunakti Cha
Saiva Viyatacha
Narada Uvacha
Narada Vacha
Makanchana
Makanchana
Suchorajan
Suchorajan
Yadishvara Vasham Jagat
Yadishvara Vasam Jagat
Loka Sapala Yashimi
Loka Sapalaya Syeme
Vahanti Balimisitu
Vahanti Balimisitu
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Bhutani
Saiva Viyunakti
Cha Narada Uvacha
Narada Vacha
Makanda Sukorajan
Makanchana Suchorajan
Yadishvara Vasham Jagat
Yadishvara Vasam Jagat
Loka Sapala Yashami
Loka Sapalaya Syeme
Vahanti Balim Ishitu
Vahanti Balimisitu
Sasamyanaki Bhutani
Sasamyunakti Bhutani
Saiva Viyunaki Cha
Saeva Viyunakti Cha
Narada Vacha
Narada Uvacha
Narada said
Narada said
Ma
Never
Kanchana
By
by all means
all means
Sucha
Sucha
do you lament
Do you lament
Rajan
Raja
King
Okay
yet because Ishvara Vasham
Ishvara Vasham
under the control of the Supreme Lord
Under the control of the Supreme Lord
Jagat
Jagat
world Loka
Loka
all living beings
all living beings
Sapala
Sapala
including the leaders
including their leaders
Yasya
Yashya
whose
Whose
Yime
Ime
all these Anti
Vahanti
you bear
You bear
Balim
Balim
means of worship
means of worship
Ishtu
Ishitu
for being protected
for being protected
Saha
Sa
He
He
Samyunukti
Samyanati
get gets together.
gets together.
Bhutani,
Bhutani,
all living beings.
all living beings. Sa,
He, Eva, also. Vyunakti, disperses. Cha, and. Translation and purport. By His Divine Grace of Vaicharanavinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Sri Narada said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all living beings and their leaders who carry on worship to be well protected. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them. Purport. Every living being, please repeat. Sri Narada said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone. For everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all living beings and their leaders carry on worship to be well protected. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them. Every living being, either in this material world or in the spiritual world, is under control of the Supreme Lord, the personality of God. Beginning from Brahmaji, the leader of the universe, down to the insignificant ant, all are abiding by the orders of the Supreme Lord. Thus, the constitutional position of living beings to be subordination under the control of the Lord. The foolish being, especially man, artificially rebels against the laws of the Supreme and thus becomes chastised as an asura, or lawbreaker. A living being is placed in a particular position by the order of the Supreme Lord, and he again is shifted from that place by the order of the Supreme Lord, or his authorized agents, Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Maharaji Nishtir, or in modern society, Napoleon, Akbar, Alexander, Gandhi, Subhash, and Nehru are all servants of the Lord, and they are placed in and removed from their respective positions by the supreme will of the Lord. None of them is independent. Even though such men or leaders rebel and so as to not recognize the supremacy of the Lord, they are put under still more rigorous laws of the material world by different miseries. Only the foolish man therefore says there is no God. Maharaj Yudhishthira was being convinced of this naked truth because he was greatly overwhelmed by the sudden departure of his uncle and aunt. Maharaj Dhritarashtra was placed in that position according to his past deeds. He had already suffered or enjoyed the benefits accrued to him in the past, but due to his good luck somehow or other, he had a good younger brother, Vidura, and by his instruction he left to achieve salvation by closing all accounts in the material world. Ordinarily, one cannot change the course of one's due happiness and distress by plan. Everyone has to accept them as they come under the subtle arrangement of God, or the invincible time. There is no use of trying to counteract them. The best thing is, therefore, one should endeavor to achieve salvation, and this prerogative is given only to man because of his developed condition of mental activities and intelligence. Only for man are there different Vedic instructions for attainment of salvation during the human form of existence. One who misuses this opportunity of advanced intelligence is rarely condemned and put into different miseries, either in this present life or in the future. That is the way of the Supreme controls everyone. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Swakaya Chakshurum Nityam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagagatam Sagana Ganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parigana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Laya Shri Vishakamitam Scha Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Bhagavate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Amami Priphe Panchakalpa Tarubhyascha Krupa Sindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namaste. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishya Srivadi Prasthaya Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Sri Narada said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore all living beings and their leaders carry on worship to be well protected. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them. So Dhritarashtra has left home. It's quite ironic that Yudhishthira Maharaj is lamenting, where is my uncle gone? This uncle is the one who inspired his own children to poison them, to try to burn them to death, to abduct their wife, to steal their kingdom, to do so many heinous things. But yet Maharaj Yudhishthira is exhibiting the utmost mood of devotion, which is a devotee harbors no enemies. Because a devotee sees that everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So how I can have an enemy? If anyone has a right to consider somebody an enemy, is Maharaj Yudhishthira considering Dhritarashtra as an enemy? If there's ever a right in the world, it's here. Because Maharaj Yudhishthira was put through so much torment because of Dhritarashtra. And still we see the great quality of Yudhishthira Maharaj, that he is thinking, where he's gone? He's an old man. How he's maintaining him? Of course, Vidura came to Hastinapur after meeting with Maitreya Rishi, and Vidura saw Dhritarashtra staying here and said, what is this? The person you tried to murder, you are now living like a dog, begging for some scraps and your maintenance? You are an old man. It's time you at least spend these last moments of your life doing some devotional service, ensuring your salvation. So he grabbed him by the ear and said, let's go. Let's go to the forest. Of course, his wife, Gandhari, was very eager to go. Now this forest journey is not like going to some resort environment. This is living in Van Prasthashram. Van means in forest. And in this ashram, one endures great austerity, living on roots and berries, submerging themselves up to their neck in ice-cold water, surrounding themselves by intense fire in the summer months. Like great austerity. But this is the purification after having lived a life of so-called luxury and potential deviations. Of course, a devotee lives their life in even Grahastha ashram in a very austere and disciplined way. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj we continue to glorify because he says, oh, great personality, I do not know where my two uncles have gone. We're speaking of who? Vidura and Dhritarashtra. Okay? So he is speaking again out of compassion, because this is the mood of any devotee, but particularly of a king, because a king has a responsibility to see to the welfare of all those who are dependent on him. That is the duty of the king. Not to rule and to exploit for their own gain, but to see that each and every citizen, their welfare is taken care of. And what welfare? To ensure that they can eat, sleep, mate, and defend like cats and dogs? No.
Yes.
To ensure that they can all go back home back to God. That is the real welfare. These bogus welfare systems that the government puts out is all hogwash. Why? Because it's just giving welfare to eat, sleep, mate, and defend. It's giving no knowledge how to properly utilize this human form of life for its real purpose. So Narada Muni, Yudhishthira Maharaj was lamenting to Narada Muni that I don't know where everybody has gone. And what Narada Muni says, what you can do about it. Yudhishthira Maharaj is the great king who is ruling over Saptadvip, the whole world. The whole world he is ruling. And everyone, all the rival kings have surrendered to him. And either voluntarily or involuntarily come under his jurisdiction. So he's the controller of the world. And Narada Muni says, you are not the controller of anything.
Okay.
Who is the controller? Ishvara Parama Krishna. Krishna is the supreme controller. We are all under his control. Now, coming under the control of anyone in the material world puts us in a precarious position. Right? Why? Very simple. Because the motive of that person controlling is not going to be pure. It's going to be, what is my gain for this person's loss? Right? That's control. I control somebody to gain something from them and for them to lose.
Yeah.
Right? So this dynamic of coming under control, we have some hesitation on. But remember back to our earliest days of childhood, before our memory even. When we first appeared in this world, we were under complete control of who?
Lord, Krishna.
Well, always Krishna. But in that time, Mother. Mother. If we want to go from here to there, how we go? Mother. If I need some food to eat, how I'll get food? Mother. If I need a bath, how I'll get? Mother. If I need to sleep, how I'll sleep? Now, so we're under full control. Is that a control of exploitation? No. No. That is a control of love. Of love. Pure love. Almost as pure love as you can get. Prabhupada explains. So when we say we're coming under control of Krishna, now think back. Mother's ability to control our experience, limited or unlimited? Limited. Child gets sick. Mother is in control of curing the child?
No.
You can try, but no guarantee. Right? So even the mother's love is limited. So when we understand coming under the control of Krishna, what's his capacity? Limited or unlimited?
Unlimited.
What is his love for us? Limited or unlimited?
Unlimited.
Wait a minute. Even if I'm the most fallen rascal who disobeys all his orders, breaks all of his principles, he still loves me?
Yes. For the time. Sweet for the time.
Krishna's love is unbreakable. Because even if child rebels against mother, mother still loves. Even a mother's love can be broken. But Krishna's love can never be broken. So when Narada Muni says that everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord, our immediate sentiment, oh, thank you, Krishna. Right? What better place to be under control of? What better shelter we could have? Someone who loves us unlimitedly. Someone who loves us unlimitedly, who has unlimited capacity, capability, resources, is taking control of us. That is the greatest position to be in. In that situation, what there can be to fear? How much fear does that little child have?
Unlimited.
They're oblivious. Because they only know mother. So a devotee should have no fear. Because they know Krishna is controlling everything. If I'm going to walk outside and get, and die, okay, what's to fear? Why? It's Krishna's plan. And his plan for me, everybody has full faith, is best. What could be better for me than Krishna's plan for me? The all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful Lord. If He makes a plan for me, what could be better? So whether we acknowledge we are under control of Krishna or not, doesn't matter. That's the fact. Whether, if I say, I'm not under control of gravity, does that mean that I'm not controlled by gravity? I can say it all I want. But it doesn't make it true. So the foolish asuras say, no, there's no God. I'm not under control of anyone. Okay. Then when their plans meet failure, why? If they're not under control, why they couldn't manifest everything they wanted? Okay? So the fact is we are under control of Krishna. And the question is, are we going to embrace that situation or rebel? So Prabhupada makes a spectacular point here in the very beginning of the purport. He says, every living being, either in this material world or the spiritual world, is under the control of the Supreme Lord. So what's the difference? There's only one difference. In the spiritual world, everyone is running to be under control of Krishna. And in the material world, we are all ahankara vimuddatma, kartaham iti manyate. I think, no Krishna. I am under my own, I am the own controller. I am controller. So, those who reject the control of Krishna, the idea of control of Krishna, they come to the material world. Those who accept and embrace, they're in the spiritual world. So, the control is not a question. The only question is, what is our understanding and desire? So we get to express this desire. I can choose, I have free will. Krishna does not control my free will. So while I am under his control, he allows us to free will to choose. But based on what I choose, the result of that action, I don't get to choose. Meaning every action I do, the karma that's coming with it is forced upon me. So we have this minute independence. What's that minute independence specifically? This free will. This free will. So, Maharaji this year is being comforted by Narada Muni. What you can do to protect your uncles, to care for them, that Krishna cannot do. So don't worry. Don't worry. They're taken care of in whatever way is set for them. Whatever plan Krishna has for them is now unfolding. Either due to their karma, their past actions, or due to the divine arrangement of the Lord. Of course, Dhritarashtra was actually, think of how fortunate he was. Why was Dhritarashtra so fortunate? He got the association of Vidura, who said, hey, practice bhakti. You're dying. Wow. How much suffering is destined for Dhritarashtra? But Vidura knew, aham tam sarva papebhyo. Krishna delivers. If you surrender to Krishna, he delivers us from all our sinful reactions. So Dhritarashtra is most fortunate because Vidura came and spoke knowledge to him. And to Dhritarashtra's credit, he agreed to go and leave. Not an easy thing to do. So actually Dhritarashtra is quite well taken care of. By whose arrangement? By whose control? Krishna. Just like Srila Prabhupada came and picked all of us up from the most miserable of condition. Thinking, I have this beautiful luxury of birth, death, old age, disease, difficulties of the mind and body, so much difficulty. Oh, but I have a nice house. I have a nice car. I have no relationships with anyone. But I have a good education. I have a nice watch. Roads are smooth, nice. But my mind and heart are completely disturbed and destroyed. So I'll just intoxicate my way to escape the realities that surround me. It sounds like good life, huh? Yeah. This is the material conditioning. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is being informed that everyone is under the control of the Lord. Therefore, all living beings and their leaders worship the Lord to be well protected. They acknowledge, surrender to the Lord. My dear Lord, you are my protector. Their gratitude for Krishna taking control and providing the shelter. They're very gracious in gratitude. And Prabhupada writes, even these current leaders, right? They rebel so as to not recognize the supremacy of the Lord. They are put under still more rigorous laws. Of what? Material nature. So, this coming under the control of the Lord is our greatest opportunity and fortune. And in its human form of life, after having suffered millions and millions of lifetimes trying to be independent of Krishna's control. We've now come to the human form of life where we have the intelligence. Prabhupada writes, the developed condition of mental activities and intelligence. We have the intelligence to decide. Shall I come under the control of Krishna? Or shall I come under the control of Krishna and think I'm not?
Okay.
Either way, I'm under the control of Krishna. And if I use my intelligence to surrender to Krishna, everything becomes perfect. So this is the great fortune we have to be aware now for the first time after millions of lifetimes of trying to be our independent controller and being slapped over and over again with failure. Now is our time to understand. And just like Dhritarashtra's time to understand his position was enabled by Vidura, Srila Prabhupada crossed the oceans, came to our doorsteps, gave us a book, his Bhagavad Gita, Shrimadbhagavatam, and saved us from another wasted life. Another wasted life. I suppose. Granthara Shrimadbhagavatam ki. Prabhupada ki.
Why was class so short today?
Yes.
To the point.
Any questions, comments? We can have some discussion.
Prabhu, when are your parents coming back to Jerusalem?
May, end of May.
In the May. Okay. April, in the May. Okay. A few more weeks. Okay. I was thinking about that the other day. Okay, when it gets warm.
Yes.
Warm enough for them to come out. I don't blame them.
Hare Krishna, bro. Thanks for the
Yes.
Very good.
using our intelligence, we can surrender to Krishna. But sometimes, even though we know everything and we read scriptures and we know about Krishna, sometimes we don't behave accordingly. Sometimes, due to our ignorance or due to circumstances, we don't surrender to Krishna. So, how can we develop that faith and surrender to Krishna?
Well, surrender to Krishna is again our natural intrinsic position. Right? And it's again, the most relatable way is always going back to our own life. We were naturally surrendered to mother and father, right? And as we grew older, what happened?
Start to rebel.
We start to rebel. Why? I know more.
Oh, wow.
I know more. So we rebel. Then we live the experience of rebellion. And then at some point we realize, wow, mom and dad were right. Right?
Yeah.
And then we re-engage. That's our process. Right? We were under Krishna's shelter, enjoying everything. And then we rebelled. We said, why you, why not me? And now we're in the process of realizing, oh, Krishna was right. He told us, don't go, don't go, don't go. Okay? So surrender is not difficult. It's actually the best position to be in. Think about it. We have the opportunity to come under the loving control of the most loving, most powerful personality, the Supreme Lord, Shrimadbhagavatam. where better we can go? So, when we understand the all-loving nature of Krishna, the potency of Krishna, then the surrender becomes easy. We actually run to it. Not, okay, fine. But embrace it because it's the best place to be. Right? Just like a child who is born in a very loving home with parents who are very well-to-do and also with great love. Right? If parents have lots of money but they're not so pure in heart, is that a good place to be? No, right? Because you can have all the facilities, but maybe they're abusive or not, whatever. But we have the opportunity to go to Krishna, who is our loving Father, our eternal Father, and He has not even the tinges of self-motive. Only thing He wants is to see us happy. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives us 6 principles of Sharanagati, of surrender. The first is yama and niyamas, that we have to understand the do's and don'ts. Understanding do's and don'ts means I don't get to make up the rules. Guess what? You don't make up the rules anywhere. You don't get to make up the rules in your own house. If you play too loud of music in your house, what will happen? Neighbors are going to complain to the police. The police are going to come and give you a noise violation ticket. Guess what? You don't get to control how loud you play your music in your house. If you want to walk around naked on your front lawn, you'll end up in jail. Because you don't get to choose. You don't get to choose. So when we say, oh, you have to follow God, I'm not following God. What is that? Nowhere in our whole existence do we get to choose what we want to do. We are always living under someone's rules. So why not live under God's rules?
Yeah.
Why not live under Krishna's rules? So that's the first degree, principles of surrender. Do's and don'ts. Following the do's and don'ts. Then we understand one essential principle. Surrender becomes very easy when we understand this. What did I come into this world with?
Nothing.
What am I leaving this world with?
Nothing.
And can you say, I am existing on this world on nothing?
No.
No. So my existence is based on so many things I require. Who provided those?
Krishna.
You didn't bring them, nor are you taking them. No, Walmart provided them.
Okay.
Where Walmart got them from? Ultimately,
Please, Krishna.
so Krishna is providing everything, from the breath of air to the sun, every single thing for our existence. When we know that, does surrender become difficult? When a child understands that if they leave the house, they'll have no food, no clothing, no education, nothing, it becomes difficult to surrender. So that is a principle. At the same time, one of the principles of surrender is extraordinary confidence that Krishna will protect me. Because you can't surrender unless you have faith. Child cannot surrender to mom or dad unless they have confidence. When mom brings food, do they say, hey, what's in this? Is there any poison in this? You do. They just take it. Because they have confidence. Confidence, faith in Krishna's mercy. In fact, they demand, hey, Krishna, you have to save me. Because I am dependent on you. That's the principle of surrender. And this humility. Humility to realize I am not independent. So, we can read about this, we can understand it theoretically, right? Now to getting to the core of your question. But we have to make it come alive in our consciousness. And that happens gradually. So today, acknowledge my controlled nature of Krishna a little bit more. When we want something and it doesn't happen, it's so easy. Krishna, okay, you have a better plan. But sometimes we want something so badly that we start to lose faith in Krishna's plan. And that is our worst outcome. Why? Because if Krishna deviates his plan for our plan, who is going to win? And who loses? We express many plans to our parents. But whose plan was actually better for us? So Krishna's plan for us is perfect. I hope.
Goodness. He's back. First time you saw him? Oh.
So Krishna's plan is perfect. So when we are met with so-called failure of our plan, easy, okay, Kunjabihari, just tell me my plan so I can understand it better. You know how to make Kunjabihari laugh?
How to make Kunjabihari laugh?
You want to make him laugh? Go ahead and tell him your plan.
Okay.
Kunjabihari will laugh. He'll get a good chuckle out of it. Oh yeah? That's the plan? I'll show you.
Okay.
So, that's okay. We should go and tell. We're children. We're immature children. It's okay. So, surrender means faith in Krishna's plan. At the end of it. And not only faith, it's confidence. It's actually better for me than what I think is better for me. Right? So, and actually it's a most liberating position. Because then we can put forth our energy, our effort, and just have faith. Okay, Krishna's plan. Nrsimha Chaturdashi is coming up.
In the this month.
Prahlad Maharaj is like happy as can be. He's being thrown off of cliffs, trampled by elephants, put into a bed of snakes. So much. And he's like, Krishna's plan. So this is how we surrender. But it takes purification of the heart, our false ego. But incremental sense. And sometimes you say, oh yeah, I'm surrendered to Krishna. Okay. Let's see. First time we face some setback. Because a devotee has no failure. Zero. Understand? A devotee has no failure. Because everything is Krishna's plan. If something I'm doing isn't successful, You know? So Prabhupada's pharmacy failed. Was it a failure? No, we're very grateful his pharmacy failed. Because he came and saved us. Externally, it looks like he failed. The devotee doesn't see it as failure. It's Krishna's plan. Anything else?
So how can we check that progress like after?
How to check the progress? Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur gives us the very simplest of all formulas. My material attachments. Why? We chant this every day, right? It's an offense to be inside of watching. It's an offense to have material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions in this matter. Just think logically about this. I have material attachments. What's going to give me more happiness? Material happiness or spiritual happiness? So we know that in our words, right? We know that with our intelligence. Spiritual happiness is better. If you have 5 $1 bills, and I have 5 $10 bills, and I'm willing to trade you as many as you want, $1 bills or $10 bills, how many $1 bills you'll keep? Huh?
You wouldn't keep any of the $1 bills, you'd trade them all in.
You trade them all in, right? Simple. So, if you have a material attachment, what are you doing? You're keeping a $1 bill when you have an opportunity to trade in for a $10 bill.
Nice.
So why don't you trade it in? Because you don't have faith. My fear is, if I give up my material attachment, I'm going to lose something. I know theoretically my material attachment has less value than my spiritual attachment. But my material attachments are there. Why? Because I don't have full faith. I'm not surrendered to Krishna's plan. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, our progress in spiritual life is measured by how many $1 bills I've traded in for $10 bills. If I have less material attachments today than I did 6 months ago, then I'm making progress. Again, don't measure in weeks or days because we have some ups and downs. But in 6-month increments, 12-month increments, you can see, observe. Do I have less? Because the only reason I would keep a material attachment is due to the lack of faith.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why would you? It's foolish. Every material attachment we've had is ended in our misery. Every one of them. And which of our spiritual attachments have ended in misery? 0. So my progress is measured simply by this. Exchanging $1 bills for $10 bills. Exchanging my material attachments for spiritual attachments.
Okay.
That's the measure. Right? So that gives us our barometer. Am I more surrendered to Krishna? Because to detach from all my material things, it requires faith and surrender to Krishna. And that's why he says, Raja Vidya Rajagoyam, Pavitram Itam Uttamam. Then he says, Pratyaksham Bhagamam. He says, this is, in the second stanza, he says, this is the most purifying knowledge. Purifying what? Our ahankara, our false ego, our illusion, our pride. When that's purified, pratyaksha bhagamam, you will experience the value. Meaning you can see, oh yes, this spiritual life is so much better than material life. But it takes purification. It takes purification. Right? So, the more we chant our rounds nicely, the more we approach our sadhana, it'll happen. But that is the measure. And we should always keep this measure very clear. And what this measure also does, it prevents us from becoming susceptible to our material attachments. Because it's an indicator, I'm now become attached, I'm going backwards. Stop. Otherwise we'll do the rationalization. What's the harm? One movie, one this, one that, what's the harm? But when no, that's actually taking me the other way. It helps us stay. So this is why this formula is the simple formula.
Key.
Yeah. Bhakti Siddhanta is very exacting. So, okay. So Prabhupada ki, Shrimadbhagavatam ki.